you at, Matt? Let's introduce ourselves real quick to the listeners.
I'm just a good guy.
Well,
Not
sure.
a nice guy, not a kind guy, just a good guy.
Where are you at, in Nebraska?
I'm in Waverly, Nebraska. I'm in Melanie's office.
Nice.
I don't know why.
Hey, did you see that they cut in the clip? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Did you see that?
I loved it.
Brad, where are you out of right now?
I'm down in Warner Robins, Georgia, hanging out with an Empire install crew.
Nice. You learning
Oh,
or what?
who's down there, bro?
Plunko, helping them finish
Oh.
up. Ben called me a couple weeks ago and said they were short a few hands, so we've been down here just helping them wrap up this job. It's really cool project.
Super cool.
That's a good crew.
Hey, so we just have to like text you, Brad, and say, hey, we need some help, and you'll come help us? Are you like an intern where you pay us?
The lesson in this is while I am happy to help anyone anytime if they need hands, and it's good for us. It was good to bring Travis last week. Ryan's going to be down here this week. It's good experience. This is actually like slowing me down and hurting all the other things I should be doing for my business. So it's a mixed bag. Like Ben said he needed a few hands. I'm here. No big deal. Happy to do it. I like Ben. But it's not like a good thing for my business for me to be down here. I couldn't build Empire enough for this to be good for my business.
Well, so we were talking about what is one part of your business that's ready to grow and what would help get you there. And
stop saying yes to everything.
Yeah. But the reality is you need to be in two places once. You got to learn and see how it's ran and done. And, of course, you keep commitments, so you're leaning into helping. But, yeah, you need to be in a bunch of places. Now, Matt, you were just telling us offline that you're in a different situation right now.
Yeah, I'm in a slow down mode. We are in a slow down and maybe even dial back. You know, we have about 180 people, and I looked around and I started doing some math, and I said, you know, I think that we have about 30 too many people. And I started doing some math, and I was like, you know what? I'd like to cut down by about 15 or 16 people. So I went to my leaders of 8 different companies, and I said, hey, who do you not want to go to battle for, to keep? Who would you not fight for, to keep? If I start rattling off some names, who would you say, I can't get on board with fighting for that person? Or who is getting a little bit complacent? And by the way, that's not, I'm not dogging on anybody. It happens to the best of them. They get comfortable in what they're doing, and it's time for them to go do something different and go work somewhere else. And that's okay. And it can be awkward and hard, and, you know, it's never fun to let people go, but some people just, we let an individual go, and we went through their emails after they left, and we found over 1,000 unread emails and 53 emails that were drafts that were never sent, sitting in his inbox or outbox to be ready to be sent. It was time for that person to go. So here's what we did is I just looked around and I said, guys, I'm going to challenge you to lean up, get meaner, and let's save some money, and let's dial back, and we already did this. Now let's do this. Let's sit at the campsite for a little while. And I think we're going to get refreshened up, meaning gather some cash. I think we might be here. We might be here for 14 months. I kind of put some numbers to it with where our cash is, and we had a couple jobs that didn't go the way we thought they would go. We lost some money on a couple projects. We didn't make as much money as we thought on a couple projects. We just had normal growing pains, and it hurts really bad. Had to go to the bank and extend our line of credit. We have a couple people that owe us a bunch of money. and they're not paying. Coming off the winter, they're working on their punch list. Their projects are behind, so they're not going to pay us a retainage. They're not going to pay us, and it hurts. But we're in a slow down, gather some cash, and as John Maxwell would say, we're sitting at the lodge right now, gonna try to get healed up. Maybe eat some protein. Maybe go to the spa, enjoy it for a little while, and then we'll when we come on the other side of this, we'll push on the gas again.
Yeah, that's we're coming out of a season like that. What is it? You're either in a storm, getting out of a storm, or preparing for a storm, and we're getting ready to go into the storm. We've been stacking our cash for a while. We've been trying to get the right people, but I almost think we got caught in complacency or inaction. And so we're kind of on the opposite side of it, but we did burn up a little bit more of our cash than expected when we did that remodel. And we know one thing: when you're growing, it sucks cash. So I meet all these people that have all these incredible opportunities in front of them, but they have no money. And there's the temptation is to grab that job or to grow. Growing's easy. It's staying there or growing past those growing pains. And so, Matt, I actually, when you were telling your story, a little different scale, but we did 1 million first year, 2 million the second year, 3 million, then we jumped to 5.5. And that was too big of a jump. We didn't expect it. And I said, whoa. Our profitability was at like 6%. And so we went back down to like 4 million. And once the ego left the room, we made 18% to the bottom line. So we made more money with less revenue, which means less liability, less people owe you money. And then we've skyrocketed since then. Well, we've plateaued again at about 7 or 8 million because you've got to take some risks. Matt, you've been part of some of the people that we've been trying to gain some traction under the feet, and it's expensive to test and give people the opportunity to fail, and when you don't develop leaders. And so I'm ready to grow, but I also have the right people in place, which doesn't cost much money. I have relationships. I wrote down, it's on my notes, if it wasn't for Matt and the relationships, I'm talking about you, just a good guy, Matt, I would not be willing and ready to grow because I have somebody who's got my back. And so I'm ready to go, but now I don't have all the right people. I have all the right cash. I have the right people around me, but I need some of the right humans that get W-2'd. Get this. This is such a compliment. And this is when I knew we needed to go. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Robert, you did work at my yard 9 years ago, and I've never forgot y'all. Y'all have been the most unbelievable company to work with, and I one day knew I wanted to work for you. And I haven't told you this, Matt. And I said, deal. I don't really have a spot. He goes, well, I noticed you trying to get into sports construction. I said, okay, tell me more. He goes, I know every AD, booster club, and everything. I've been in that space selling fundraising and raffle, and I've worked with them. Robert, I can get us in any of the doors. I just don't want to be on the fundraising side. I want to be on the construction side because I've played ball ever since I was 5 years old to 23 at every level. He said, I had 2 girls, and while I love the girl sports, I can't help but just follow all sports. And I said, oh my gosh, we're ready to grow. And we have the money to invest and everything like that. And so really excited to do that.
Interview went really well today, didn't it?
Dude, it went really well. Did you help Dakota with that?
No, I don't help him at all. You know what I do for Dakota? I just listen to him. I'm just a friend.
Well, that's super important to listen. Super important to listen. But I appreciate you sharing your campsites. We talk about that all the time because there's always those reset. You got to repack the bag every once in a while. And that's actually why we called this Campfire Conversations, because when you sit down around the campfire, you figure out what you need and what you don't need, and got to let go to grow. So I'm curious to see how things go. You know what I like about you too, Matt? Is that on one of these earlier podcasts, you said we're going to be hiring 2 people every week for the next 50 weeks, and we're going to have 300 people. You're willing to say that actually isn't the thing that we're going to do.
Yeah, and it's so hard to explain that to people that don't quite see the big vision of the company, because when I started cascading a different message saying, we need to pull back. We need to pull back. We need to slow down. We need to reevaluate. We need to change our goals. We need to really really lean up, and we need to heal up. And uh, that was a different message than what they're here. Matter of fact, it was funny. Somebody said, "Well, we've never heard this before," and I said, "Well, first of all, you, the one that said that, you've only been here for 3 years. We are a 16-year-old or 17-year-old company. So we've had these adjustments before. We were just a lot smaller and it was a lot easier and they were a lot quicker. So as you grow and you get bigger, it becomes you're not trying to heal up from $200,000. You're trying to heal up from $3.6 million, and that's a big hit. Now, I will tell you, I'd love to have this campfire talk sometime about how we pushed money off into our receivables for about 4 years in a row. We were able to pull that off, and it was extremely strategic. Had I not done that over the last 4 years, our goose would be cooked right now. That's how serious it is. And it's funny, and two, I want to be. I know we're sending these out, and people are going to be listening to, but I want to be very candid that most business owners only talk about their wins. And I want to talk a little bit about, I want you all to know that right now we're not in a winning season. We got kicked. We got kicked really hard. We have a contractor that's not playing very nice to us. We have some people that are copying our products and our ideas. We have some people that are they're not playing very nice, and we have some general contractors that are just being brutally mean, and that's hard to admit and hard to say because we coach to avoid these things. Well, we're going through a storm right now, and it's a healing storm, and we need to dial back a little bit, and it's going to hurt, and especially when you're used to having cable TV and having the thermostat set on as low as you want for the air conditioner and all this stuff, and all of a sudden you say, "Hey, no more cable TV, and we're not going to run the air conditioner at 66. We're going to move it up to 72, and we're gonna tighten up the ship, and we're going to pull back. We're going to sell that piece of property over there." By the way, another lesson is you need to have assets that are available for plucking, and you have to be willing to part with them. It's a very serious deal, or leverage them, whichever one. You either have to sell them or go in debt. And we're in a very, very difficult season right now at Crown Companies. And but I have no doubt that we were smart with our money over the years, and we managed to push our monies off and our receivables every year by managing our billing on commercial projects. So I think we're in an okay spot. Now I'm actually kind of excited. We hit 191 people. We've officially let 15 people go, and I think next week we've identified another person that's not pulling their weight, and we're gonna let them go and use a third party outsource on their job instead. So we're making some tough decisions, but we're also getting more creative. And that's the cool thing about the campsite that we're at right now. We're looking around and going, "Hey, let's find another way to cut wood. Let's be more creative, and let's spend a little time sharpening the axe so we can take less swings at it next time." And that's where we're at right now.
Matt, I appreciate you sharing, man. That I know needs to be heard to some people because you can only intake things through your eyes or your ears, and we tell ourselves what we want to see or hear. And so it's really helpful when you share an experience like that. And I've been in several of those seasons. I can't help but at moments, finding myself can't wait to get to where Matt is. But the reality is, I can't wait to get where Robert's gonna go, right? And when you were talking, Matt, and Brad, I know you're in different seasons too, so have you chime in here, but Matt, with this Lemonade Day, it on the P&L would be the first thing to let go. $25,000 commitment, but we didn't. We said if we had rather spend the 25,000 we have in the bank account. We just came off the worst March ever. Don't have any clue why. It was the worst March ever, and we had no money to put into this lemonade day. The week we did lemonade day, spent all that money, we did $560,000 in sales. Amen, right?
Yeah, and you got like another 80 that you're going to sign up next week already from last week, right?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
I mean, you might blow past 600,000 in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and I could feel it in Dakota's voice. He was just on fire today. He was. So we talked for 9 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. He talked for 9 minutes, and I love it. And all I
Yeah,
do is instigate. Hey, how's Robert doing? Hey, how's Tim doing? Or I'll just and all of a sudden he'll just go off. Now I will tell you about 3 minutes of it was about the new sprint car trailer and how he's going to come up here to Nebraska and beat our sprint car. But he had a different vibe in his voice today. It was really cool,
well,
Robert. So well done
well,
on getting him excited.
Well, I think we've all done a good job pouring into him, but I think a lot of it had to do is that he saw we keep our commitments. We pour into the community regardless of how well we're doing. We're meaningful with our means, and I truly, it's got to be a God thing in my opinion, where we just continue to spend our last dollar and then it shows up at the doorstep, right? And so I had my baby on Monday. I had 3 of my sales reps gone from Wednesday on. We only had 3 sales reps, and we sold, once we record that last little bit, over 600K, spent the money we shouldn't be spending on these kids. We saw so many people leaning in at our organization that were struggling because they just didn't have, their impact didn't shine as much. And then we got to race, and 10 cars wadded up and fell off the track, and we finished high in the races. And if somebody wouldn't have wrecked into us, we wouldn't have dropped off the bead. But I'm telling you, like, by continually keeping our biggest commitment, which is to multiply our means to others, I truly believe it shows up. And you said I have confidence in that. I think that's how your team holds on during these moments of adversity. Character shows up. Are you going to continue to sponsor the little league team? You might have to scale back a little bit because the P&L doesn't lie. But are you still showing up in those kids' lives even on the bad days? Or whoever you choose to contribute to. Brad, we were talking about Rainier. There's tons of reasons not to go on Rainier, but we're still going to go. We're going to keep our commitments, regardless of what the P&L says, because we decided to do that when our minds were right. And so I appreciate you sharing, Matt. Brad, do you have anything on that? Any of that stuff we just talked about? That was good.
I was just soaking it in. I was thinking a lot about how each of us is just in very different seasons, and it's just kind of like hearing about how the struggles are different. Matt, I think about something you told me, and you probably told me a dozen times, but the monster doesn't go away; it just gets bigger.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I think hearing some of that reality is good, right? It's not a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's just a journey. It's just a different chapter in the journey, different challenge, different riddle to solve, right? Like, and that's kind of what we're all doing. And I think that it's all very, very different. The things that I'm solving for right now are very, very different. This is all just grind and hustle startup type stuff. The advice that I have to keep giving myself is just, it's all about consistency. Like,
oh yeah.
it's all about consistent, and as someone who is very idea driven, holy shit, I have so many things that I would love to like go after. Even inside of this business, I have so many ideas.
Did we lose Brad?
I think we did. He was getting a little foggy. Talking about ideas though, it's a hard thing to do as an entrepreneur because you're constantly trying to think you constantly have that next idea, but it's tough. Let's do
Yeah.
another card.